Hello, good morning everybody. I hope you can see my screen and also hear my voice. So we are late, we're like 2 minutes into time. We'll start off with the pair on my screen, GBP USD. I'll look at this from the weekly point of view, then I'll move to daily, 4 hours, and then possibly 1 hour. On the weekly, this is what we had a level here last week. We had a very good resistance. This was a resistance, a resistance, a resistance, a resistance. Then there was a false break. Price went below that level, and then somehow the same place became a very good resistance. So this was the place to look for a sell from. If you look at this chart, this is the correct place to look for a sell from. And you remember I said last week that despite the two pin bars, which was this and this one, the overall trend was still downward. So that is exactly what happened. The price continued down. Somehow we're still to the low side. So the best you should be doing now is to look for a sell. Ensure that you look for a sell and expect that sell to push price up to this level. We have a support here, very good weekly support. So you want to trade this pair correctly, you better be looking for sell positions. Wait for retracements, especially up to the previous week's closing price here. Wait for retracement up to this level here, then you pick a sell from that point up to around 1.21499. On the daily, the trend is still downwards, but there's a level here where price needs to retrace up to. A very good support here, a support. There was a break. Price should come back to the same place before we look for a sell even further to the lower side. So this pair is a sell for me, but then the correct place to sell from is when price gets back to this level, 1.23989. On the 4 hours, the overall trend is still down, just the same thing. The correct place to sell from is still here. On the 1 hour, we are still down. So last week, if I remember, I actually said this is the correct place to sell from. We recommended this as the place to look for a sell from. If you are looking at this chart, then you could have taken a sell from this point here. As it is on the 1 hour, you're likely to see maybe a retracement up to this point here, or a retracement up to the next level, which is this 1.23741. We move forward, Euro USD, which is here. So Euro USD so far has also been down. As we have seen price move even lower. We had this from this point here. The price continued downwards as a resistance. It continued down, a resistance, continued down, a resistance, continued down, a resistance, and as we're speaking, we're still down. So this is a very good sell in my opinion, just that you need to wait for price to pull back to the upper side. So there's a level here which price closed below last week, this one here. We also have, I'm going to mark this as a zone here. So we have a support, and then there's a close below that support, which is this. We have price closing below it. So this is a very good sell. As long as the price remains below the zone which I've colored, you need to look for sell positions. As long as the price remains below this zone here, we're looking for a sell up to the level which is this, up to this level here. So on the weekly chart, Euro USD is a sell. GBP USD is also a very good sell, and I've mentioned the correct places to look for sell from. If you want to trade this correctly, ensure you wait for price to retrace up to the zone which I've drawn. Don't sell it right now, but wait for price to pull back to the upper side this week. So if price approaches this level here, then this will be the correct place to look for a sell from. On the daily, we are still sellers, and so far the price is below a very significant daily level, which is this, a support. We have a support here, a support, and then there's a break below. Then somehow price is still below this level here. So this is a sell. Even the daily we still have the same sell. We are below a very good support. So look for a sell, but only if price retraces back up to this level. Then 4 hours, the same thing. We are still downwards. The price is slowly getting to the lower side. So this means you're supposed to look for a sell. You can remember last week we actually took a sell from this point. We had a sell here. We had a sell from this point here. A very good support being broken. Price came back as a resistance. It continued down, a resistance. It continued down, and then we took a sell when this happened. So despite this big move to the upper side, the price still went to the lower side. So we marked this place here. This was like 2 weeks ago. We marked this level, and then we said that if price can get back up to this level, we'll pick a sell from that point. If you're waiting for this, you're supposed to be in a sell as you're speaking, or you're supposed to have taken profits already. We have also a level here, a very good support, a support. Price continued up, a support, then there's a break. So this is also another place to look for a sell from. If price does not sell off from this level here, it may sell off from the top. If it fails to sell off here, 1.11287, expect price to sell off from the next one, or the last one should be at the top, which is this 1.12806. So we'll move forward, move to our next symbol, and that is USD JPY. So far USD JPY is moving upwards. We'd like to see exactly if it's still continuing or we need to make some changes. So I'm going to expand this slightly so that you see what I'm saying. We have this, a very good trend line, just a resistance, so price is yet to hit it for the third time, and then you also have the lower one. So these are the place to look for. Anytime price approaches this level here, we look for a sell from that point towards the lower trend line, and anytime price comes back to the lower trend line, we look for a buy towards the upper trend line. That means we'll only be looking for reversals. Anytime price approaches any of these levels, we look for a trade in that direction, a sell, and then we have a buy. Here we have a sell, and then we have a buy. So if you want to trade this correctly, ensure you're looking for a sell from this upper trend line, or look for a buy from the lower trend line. And I don't want to add much on this one because it looks much more clearer for me on the daily than other time frames. We have also gone above a level where this indicates that price is possibly heading up. So I'm not going to look at it from the 4 hours or other time frames. The daily is okay. We are still upward. So you look for a buy up to the upper trend line. Oh, sorry. So okay, I'll look at it. Sorry, I'll just look at it the way you want. Sorry, still okay. Let me look at it. Somebody is saying that I should check it from the 4 hours. It's okay. So 4 hours, I'm still trying to trace the trend line we have from the daily, which is this. And then we also have this being very useful on the 4 hours. So the same thing that I was mentioning on the daily is the same thing which I'm going to mention here, that the trend is still upwards, but we expect price to proceed up to this level here. So remain bullish on it, remain bullish on this pair. Expect a buy from this point here up to the upper trend line. You want to trade this correctly, you may want to wait for price to go above this level here. Wait for price to ascend above around 108.711, then retrace back slightly before you can pick a buy to the top. So if you want to trade this correctly, ensure you're waiting for that buy, especially if price can break above, then retrace back. We'll expect it to proceed even higher. So we move forward, we move to our next symbol, and that is SP500. So far it's B500 should be heading upwards. I don't exactly know what. Yes, so it's still upwards as we mentioned some few days ago. You can see the overall trend is still massively to the upper side, and price made even a higher high last week. Now that the price is above this level here, we expect it to proceed even higher. A very good resistance has been broken, and so far the price is still above that level. So as long as we have price remaining above this level here, we have a resistance at this point. A very good, as long as the price remains above this resistance, we expect it to proceed even higher. So this was like an inside bar followed by an engulfing, which is closed above all-time high. This is a buy. It's still a very good buy, but wait for price to retrace back clearly up to where this inside bar closed. If price can come back up to around 3005.7, this will be the correct place to look for a buy from. So overall, even if I was to add an indicator, we are still upwards. As you can see from this point here, we are still massively to the upper side. And then on the 1 hour, we are still upwards. We're still upwards. This is a level here where price broke above. A very good resistance, a break above, a retracement, and somehow it's still upward. So if you are trading this pair, this symbol, you're actually supposed to be in a buy from the moment when this showed up. On the 1 hour, we are still upwards, and then 30 minutes, we are still somewhat to the upper side. So if you're a bit skeptical to buy now, you can wait for price to rise above that level. You can wait for price to go above this level here, then you pick a buy, wait for price to break above, then retrace back slightly before you can pick a buy to the upper side. So we'll move forward. We move to our next symbol, which is Brent oil. Brent oil is here. So Brent oil so far is bearish. On the 30-minute chart, we are bearish. I'm going to delete this. We don't use them. The price is heading to the lower side, and we have a very good support here where price is below. So for the past 3 days, price has been stagnating above this level. This was above for the past since 24th July. The price has remained above this zone here. So it's just earlier today that the price went below it. So this is a sell as we're speaking now. You need to look for a sell in between this one. When price gets back to this level, you pick a sell from that point up to the next level. So if you want to trade this correctly, ensure you look for a sell from within this one, from 62,991 up to 61.666. We'll move to the last symbol, and that is gold. We have gold here. We have gold there. So gold from the daily, there's a massive uptrend. We have price moving massive to the upper side, and then we have this as a very good trend line. So you are trading this symbol, you need to be looking for buy positions. We have this as support, a support, a support, a support. As we're speaking now, this is still bullish. So ensure you look for a buy on gold. If you're trading it, look for buy positions. We have, this is a flag formation which has been broken to the upper side. A very good wedge broken. There's a retracement back to the same point, and somehow we are still bullish. So this is a buy, but wait for price to retrace back up to around the lower, this one, the one which I've drawn. I will give it a different appearance. Let's make it black. So price should get back up to it so that you can look for a buy from that point to the upper side. And that buy, the first take profit is here. If you successfully manage to buy it correctly, you need to remain upwards up to this zone which I've colored. So thank you very much. That should bring us to the end of today's market overview. We meet again tomorrow at the same time. So if you have any question, just the same way you asked about me talking about a lesser time frame, just post them here. I'm going to answer all of them at the correct time. I can answer them now. If you ask now, I'll be able to answer now, but if you ask after this webinar, then I'll have to answer them just tomorrow or in the course of the day. So keep checking. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow.